What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to a new venture for me. My name is Haize. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am the host of Chicago Bulls Central, and I'm also taking over the Locked On Bulls channel over on the Locked On Podcast Network. But today, we're not talking about the Chicago Bulls. We're talking about the Chicago Bears, and this is a new venture for me. This is one that I've been talking about. If you guys follow me over from the Chicago Bulls Central, channel, you will know that I've been covering the Bulls. I've been doing it for a while, but I've always talked about doing a Bears channel as well, and I've been putting it off and things like that. So it's finally starting. This is the first episode, and this is basically just an introduction episode. Mainly, we'll talk about some things going on with the Bears. You'll get a bigger episode actually tomorrow that's going to be dropping, where we're going to break down and talk about the free agency, some free agent targets, draft targets for the Chicago Bears, everything like that. But on today's episode, this is, like I said, this is an introduction, but I also want to get into just some of the expectations for the Chicago Bears, and what's changing. As we know, if you're a big Bears fan, that a lot of things have changed with this front office, very much like the Bulls did, and when they brought in a new front office and a new regime. We're seeing Ryan Poles come in, and he's taken over, and he's brought in new coaching staff, everything like that. And like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more in detail on tomorrow's episode with my co-host. But on today's episode, I just want to talk about Ryan's approach to the NBA, to the NFL draft combine. Now we know that the combine's going on, drafts right around the corner, and so Ryan talked about how the looks on things. I read an article today in which he talked about looking at players, but also how he works with the analytics team. And since we're bringing in a new era of Chicago Bears football, as well as a new era with Chicago Bears Central, I wanted to talk about the analytics portion of it. And I want to ask you guys, what do you think about the use of analytics in football and how that can be used to build out a roster? We've seen on the basketball side of things, really over the last 10 or 15 years, analytics has become more and more important and more used by teams and how they build out their rosters, how they bring in other players, and that coming into the football side of things, I think is really going to pay dividends as well. I know there are a lot of purists when it comes to sports that don't really pay attention and don't really like analytics to be brought in. They want the eye test to be seen, and I understand that completely. Right? I'm not trying to create a distinction over which one is better. I just want to talk about it because now we know that Ryan is going to be using those analytics, and there's going to be a debate probably in the comments and everything about how analytics are used. But one thing that we have seen on the basketball side of things with analytics is just how it can bring out and how players can have a bigger impact sometimes than what you would think just by looking when you use analytics to build out a roster completely. So going into this NFL draft, and we know that the Bears are going to be looking for a speedy wide receiver to really pair with Justin Fields going into his second year. And like I said, we're going to go more into draft targets, specific draft targets on the next episode, as well as free agent targets. So we'll be talking about Amari Cooper on the free agent side, and we'll be talking about Chris Olave and Christian Watson as well on the draft side of things, amongst other ones. But how that can be used and how this can be used to really help this Bears team so much in so many ways. Now, I like that we are getting a completely different era. Like I compared it to the Chicago Bulls sides of things because you want to change the culture of an organization. You want somebody who's going to bring in completely different energy, and it seems like their focus and how they're going to be using analytics to really build out that team is going to be a big change. I think overall, I don't really think that the former front office really used analytics at the level that it seems like Ryan is going to be using analytics. So that's it. That's what I wanted to present to you. Outside of just how this team is going to look so different at the start of the next NFL season from where it ended at, I think it's big that we have somebody with a completely different outlook, a fresh take, right? Sometimes you need fresh eyes. And one thing that we see in sports so often is that we see that sometimes for some people who just have looked at sports and looked at things the same way for so long, time kind of passes you up. And you need somebody with a fresh take. You need somebody with a fresh mind. And I liked all the moves that Poles has made so far. What that remains to be seen on how this roster is going to be built out is going to be big. And at the end of the day, like this is a new venture for me and a new era in Chicago Bears football, I'm really looking forward to it. I want to know what you guys, and I know this is a bit late. Poles was hired back in what was it, January? So it's been a while now since we've known that he's taken over this team. But what do you think that's happened so far? How do you feel about the coaching moves that we made so far? What do you think this roster is eventually going to look like? And who are some of the targets coming in the draft that you would like to hear us talk about on tomorrow's episode, as well as free agent targets. Let me know free agent targets, draft targets, everything as we prepare to break down and go into that on tomorrow's episode, the first full episode of Chicago Bears Central. I can't wait to bring you guys this thing. I really wanted to bring, like I said, this first episode to really just talk about it, really kind of whet the appetite, get some listener and viewer interaction initially just to kind of start it off, because this is going to be a platform for anyone who knows how I built Chicago Bulls Central. It's all about the community that we build, and that's what this is eventually going to be about. It's about the community. It's not just about me or the co-host or anyone else and just our ideas. It's about a community of Bears fans that love this organization, love the franchise, love these players, and are invested in it. So as we prepare for this new era of Chicago Bears football, let's also prepare for a new era in how we cover it. This is going to be real talk from real fans of the franchise, and I can't wait to bring you guys that. For anyone, again, who doesn't know who I am, who is new to me, I don't expect you to know me. I am a lifelong Chicago Bulls, Bears, and Cubs fan, and Blackhawks fan as well, but I lived in St. Louis for a little while, and I became a Blues fan. Don't hate me. But with all that being said, my investment and emotional investment in these teams and in this city can't be questioned. And I hope to prove that to you and earn you guys' love and respect as well over the course of this channel. Let's build this out as much as we can, and I'm glad to have and start this conversation today on Chicago Bears Central. Make sure you're following the podcast at Bears Central Pod on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. And there also is a voicemail. If you want to leave us a voicemail to go ahead and get your thoughts on any free agent targets or draft targets, or how this team has changed from the ending of last season so far into this point of the season, into the offseason, let me know that. The number to do that, you can text or voicemail, is 773-270-2799. That's it. Go Bears. Let's get the hell up out of here. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.